Greetings, drone fiends. I've been nose deep studying aeronautics, and it turns out Rex was right. A lot of people have wondered about machines that can lift off the ground. There's Tito Livio Burattini and his dragon-shaped glider. Leonardo da Vinci's bird-inspired wing-flapping designs. Sir George Cayley and his gliders that actually flew. The Wright brothers and their famous gasoline-powered airplane. I could teach a whole course on all the experiments scientists have put themselves and their cats through to figure out what flies and what doesn't. But anyway, even today, scientists still do experiments and even get into arguments trying to figure out exactly how airplanes, rocket ships, helicopters, and drones are able to fly.
Not even NASA knows how planes fly? It is magic.
Well, no, it's still science, just science we're still working on. Just because we don't know every detail doesn't mean we don't know anything. Just look at jumbo jets or the last rocket launch to the International Space Station. While there's still a lot of questions left for today's scientists to answer, thanks to the great minds of the past, we know that in order to fly, drones need to master the 4 forces of flight: weight, thrust, lift, and drag.
Weight is precisely what you think it is. It's the force from gravity pulling something towards the center of the Earth. Gravity is what determines how much you weigh. The more mass you have, the larger the object gravity has to act on, which makes you weigh more. It's a little more confusing than just knowing how much you weigh, but it's important to know that you only weigh as much as you do because of the force from gravity. This is why astronauts weigh less on the moon. There is less gravity pulling on their mass. To fly, drones need to counter the force from gravity pulling them down.
A massive rocket ship needs to burn a ton of rocket fuel to lift the immense weight of the rocket off the ground, where a drone only needs props to get it airborne. If a drone weighs too much, its propellers won't be able to counter the force from gravity, and it won't be able to generate enough energy to get off the ground. Which is why, Rex, we had to put you on that diet.
Hey, I'm just big-framed, okay?
Sure.
To counter their weight, drones spin their props. This movement creates thrust, which lifts the drone. If you think back to the rocket ship, it only needs to move in one direction, towards space. To do this, it ignites a massive payload, which creates an incredible amount of thrust. This thrust is what allows the super heavy rocket to leave the Earth's atmosphere.
Drones don't need as much thrust as a rocket ship, but they do need enough thrust to counter their body weight. Thrust allows drones to move in any direction.
No matter what direction a drone is moving, it needs to overcome a resistant force known as drag. Drag is air resistance that drones need to conquer in order to move. It doesn't seem like a lot, and humans can't even see it, but it takes a lot of energy to move through the air.
This is because air is actually made up of millions of tiny particles. Just like how a beach is composed of millions of individual particles of sand, the air you breathe is actually just gazillions of microscopic air particles. These particles are much smaller and lighter than sand, but a drone still needs to work to move through them.
Working alongside thrust to fight drag is a force called lift, which holds a drone in the air. A drone's propellers are specifically shaped to create lift. Just like an airplane's wings, propellers are formed so that when they spin, air moves faster over the top of the propeller than under the propeller, which lifts the drone off the ground.
But wait, how exactly does that work?
That's the million-dollar question, and one for your NASA scientists to answer.
Or maybe I can design my own experiment. Rex, I have some ideas. Come help me with this.
Not again. While I go see what the mad scientist is up to, you guys get ready for the next lesson.